Welcome back to Let's Play the Capo 2. Man, I'm tired, and I'm starting to realize reason why. I've mentioned in passing, suffer with things like depression and all that, but I've never really gone into any detail about it. And I will continue not to go into too much detail about it, but that's why, lately I just have, no motivation when it comes to recording or anything in general. When, with depression, it seems you wake up and you're just like, fuck it, I'll not do anything. I've been recording for Mother 3 and the Project Diva F LPs that are upcoming, but so far I've only got 6 for the Vocaloid one and 3 for the Mother 3 one. And the reason for that is I just lack motivation to actually do a lot of the recording or editing, especially editing when it comes to the Vocaloid one, because there's more editing in that than Mother 3, which is pretty straightforward. And I make these random clips for the Vocaloid one, which are amusing, but I just can't be arsed. I just woke up, it's like, let's do another one of those so I can start another recording for it, and I was like, I can't be bloody arsed. It's horrible cycle, man. Well, I wasn't really planning on, showing any of those random clips from it until, a preview for it, but I think I'll, you viewers on this side of the channel here get to see one of the random clips, so here's one.
Hey, Dragon, it's Ogremon. Let's get him. Hey, Ogremon! What? What is this thing on my face?
So yeah, still can, come up with all these random ideas and all that, but it's just, with my mood lately, it's just not really there half the time. In fact, even recording right now is, pretty much just lying there just thinking, I can't be arsed, but I just got up, hit the record button, get on with it, and usually I end up enjoying it, so just freaking do that. It's fun to act like idiots with my commentary. Suddenly I heard this upbeat ringtone, which is kind of the opposite of the atmosphere I created talking about depression. It wasn't my phone. If it was my phone, it would be going and all that. I've still got that as my ringtone. I can't remember when I actually set my ringtone to that, but I usually have it on mute when outdoors, because that thing goes off. Imagine how awkward that would feel. Just oh, sure, if it's a ringtone of a song. Maybe if it's a song that you think, hahaha, embarrassing, or like that. But with that, it's just what was that? Oh, nothing. It actually almost happened to me one point. I was like, nope. Coco's mother was calling from her trip. Yep. Funny thing is, I also have it set as my alarm, and this one time it was going off, I was just lying in bed, in that kind of I described, I was like, I can't be arsed getting up right now, and meanwhile my phone was going off, but it was in my freaking coat pocket, and I was like, I've gotta get up to switch the damn thing off, that thing's loud, shut up, Ayu. My jaw dropped in shock. Coco's jaw dropped open as well. Maybe to them it's a shock for something like this, but to me it seems fairly believable with my family. Although it's usually car keys rather than house keys. Why didn't her mother call her sooner? Coco looked disappointed as she hung up the phone. You'd better get home as soon as you can. And then she, funny enough, she arrives on the scene just like, how could you lose your... Keys? Keys? Oh, I've lost mine now. He's like, how are we gonna get in? Were we going to break into our own house? Oh well. We smiled at each other with disappointment and said goodbye. Then Coco turned back to me. What? A car passed between us. Convenient, isn't it? I can hear everything she said. Coco frowned dejectedly at me. Then she smiled and waved me goodbye. I also smiled and waved at her. My heart was still pounding. What was she trying to say? I was sure that it must have been something good. I wondered if she would tell me next time. I felt sad though as I saw her off. I woke to the sound of a ringtone. Seriously, what's with that ringtone? I mean, this is coming from a guy who has his ringtone as Ayu going, which is very effective for waking you up, I gotta bloody say. I had gone back to bed after Coco left because I'd had so little sleep the night before. I must have slept a pretty long time. I looked over at my clock and realized that it was after 4. Huh? I could still hear the noise going off. It was my mobile. I got out of bed and answered the phone. Hello? Nanaka? What's the matter? This fella proves that I tend to get interruptions only, well, it wouldn't really count as an interruption otherwise, really would it? But it's only when I'm recording does anyone actually open the door. And when I'm not recording, the only one that opens the door is pretty much, wind. Just the wind itself. Because my door just opens at the simplest breeze. About what? I wasn't following, being dense and all. She had gone home early because she said she had something to take care of. I wonder what happened. Did something happen? And it was only getting more confusing. Yeah, sure. Nanaka told me to meet her at the everlasting cherry tree. It had been a while since I last came here. It's my first time coming here this year. The cherry blossoms were dancing through the air as always. It hardly seemed like winter at all. I wonder if this scene, we're gonna go with the Coco route obviously, so... Well, those of you who saw Nanaka's route might be able to remember this scene, and I'm just thinking now, just random thought. What if it was pick the other choice that we're not going to choose here, and would it go the same way or would it be different because of up to this point has been focused on Coco only, and just these questions come to my mind in these type of scenarios. I always felt that way when coming here. I do remember this as well, actually. Yeah, the voice acting that wasn't there. She was right in front of the everlasting cherry tree. In fact, it feels like it's not even supposed to be in this scene. Did they get, dialogue from an entirely different scene and accidentally put it in this scene? She was so beautiful it almost gasped. Well, I almost gasped. So beautiful it frightened me. That's a weird thing to say. A captivating beauty. There was something so mysterious about her, illusionary as though I had wandered into a fairyland. It was as though time had stopped. The shining Nanaka and the everlasting cherry tree. I shook my head in an attempt to return to reality and smiled. I'm sorry I'm late. She silently shook her head. The cherry blossoms in her hair fluttered to the ground. The sunset cast a beautiful halo around her form. So, what's up? Nanaka stood right in front of me. She wasn't smiling like usual. She just kept staring straight into my eyes. Yeah. About what? What was Nanaka getting at? I tilted my head in oblivious confusion. Nothing. She helped me clean the house and left. I walked with her about halfway home. There was something she wanted to tell me, but she got cut off. Her phone rang just as she was about to say something important. But she had to go home in a hurry because her mother lost her key. It's that typical cliche, isn't it? They're never gonna get to say it till the right point in time, obviously. What is it? What? Nanaka took a big gulp. She scrunched up her beautiful face. She seemed nervous, like she was about to give a big speech. I could see tears forming in her eyes. My mind went blank. Usual case with you, Yoshiyuki? Well, not really, but he's oblivious to these situations, isn't he? Nanaka just confessed her feelings for me. I could tell this wasn't one of her jokes. Her eyes were so serious she was even trembling. She wanted me to go out with her. I couldn't just laugh this off as a joke. I had to acknowledge her feelings and give her an honest reply. I put my hand on my heart and asked myself how I felt. Man, rejection sucks. Shirigawa Nanaka told me that she loves me, but I couldn't stop thinking about someone else. Well, it's better to, actually be like, state your true feelings rather than, just like, start a relationship with someone that you don't really have this feeling. It could develop over time, but if it's not there to begin with, then you're just kind of forcing yourself into a situation that you're completely unsure of, I suppose, and not really feel like, it's just like the same way. It was Coco. Coco, the girl who always cheered me up with her smile. The bright, honest girl, the clumsy girl who couldn't always express her feelings well. I am definitely into her. What if we thought of someone entirely different? What if he, was a minor character that doesn't even have a name? It's just I suddenly realized this other character that doesn't even have a voice actress that I actually quite like in the classroom. That never actually appears on screen. Just screw the main girls in the plot then, let's go for a different route. I realized I was into her more than Nanaka.
Yoshiyuki-kun.
I bowed my head silently. I could see Nanaka's feet. They were trembling. Nanaka had put her feelings on the line to tell me this. I felt so bad for her. But I couldn't lie to her about something like this. It just seems so weird when you really think about it, though. I mean, visual novels just give you this choice and all that, but then it kind of contradicts itself because you can choose either way. You can go back and choose. You just be like, yes, I do love you, Nanaka, and then all of a sudden, no, actually, I have feelings for Coco instead. It's just make up your damn mind, but it's that's the whole point. It's you get your choices and all that. And if you have a visual novel, you're not gonna just go through one round and be like, yep, done and done. You're gonna go through all of them and it'll just feel awkward then, won't it? I'm sorry, Nanaka. I can't go out with you.
義行くん
I'm sorry.
私が普段からふざけてるからだよね。これ冗談だって思って。
I know this is not a joke. I know that you're being serious, Nanaka.
じゃあ
Her voice was choked with tears. She couldn't understand what I was saying.
じゃあ何かな。いや魅力がないんだ。
That's not it. You're very attractive. You are honest and cheerful. That's the thing I don't get about people is just thinking that looks are everything that it is. But to me, looks are simply like a weak magnet. It draws you in, but if it doesn't really no personality you can really, get behind and all that, and actually appreciate that side and all that, you're just pretty much just gonna be a weak connection where it's just all looks and nothing else. It's where's the chemistry? It's a lot of fun spending time with you.
でもじゃあ
I slowly raised my face to meet hers. Nanaka was barely managing to hold back her tears. Her beautiful face was wrapped with sadness. I looked her straight in the eyes. I just can't go out with you. A cold wind blew past, shaking the branches of the cherry blossom tree. The blossoms fell on us like drops of rain.
そう
I'm sorry.
そんな謝らないで。
That was the last straw. Tears began pouring out of her big, sorrowful eyes. The next moment she let out a great big sob. She covered her mouth and turned around. She was trying not to let me see her face. I never realized that her body was so thin, fragile. If I had been in love with her, I would have held her right away. But I couldn't do that. I didn't know what to tell her. Nanaka was really in love with me. She cried while suppressing her voice. I could tell that she was trying her best, trying not to make a sound. Finally, she muttered to me in a quiet voice. Nanaka lifted her head up. She wiped away her tears and smiled.
分かった。ごめんね。変なこと言って。
Nanaka,
本当のことを言ってくれてありがとう。
how could she stand being so casual at a time like this? I think it's a bit of a kind of, well, obviously a coping kind of thing. It's just you're devastated, but you're trying and failing to try to look like, yeah, it's okay. Ah. She always forced herself to smile at all costs. She was pretending that she was okay so I wouldn't worry about her. Exactly, you got the point for once. I didn't know what to say at all.
話ってこれだけだったんだ。それじゃあ。
Nanaka waved to me and smiled. Then she passed me by and kept walking. As I turned around, I saw her back fading into the sunset. After she left, the sounds of the city suddenly hit my ears. But all I could do was stare at Nanaka's back. I couldn't do it. I couldn't have even waved her. Powdery snow and cherry petals fall. Wait, what? Powdery snow and cherry... Have you ever noticed that about the Japanese when they maybe or maybe that was just a translation in general. Have you ever noticed though, with Japanese, when they actually use English, have you noticed they have a habit of wording things kind of awkwardly? Not like the simple English kind of way, but they use a word where a different word seems more logical. I don't know. I suppose we'd be the same, you know, if we, like, try to learn the language, and then try to, you know, write with that language. We'd probably have a bit of our own version of English there, wouldn't we? I wonder what we'd call it, though. Matchford body content every time. Seriously, it's why I stopped using like music from Clannad, for example. So much freaking times I was like match third party content. So like, I actually have a plan for like having some clips from, well, references to Clannad in my LP of Project Diva, like make a random clips with it. And I think I'll just like make my own music for those type of scenes, because using music from the actual soundtrack, I know it's just gonna be like instantly match fire red body content. And since my guitar playing's improved, I've already got a general idea for a clip to do with that. It's just, as I mentioned at the start of this recording, motivation is not there. Huh? I suddenly realized that I'm sitting in some unfamiliar classroom. It's obviously not one from Kasami Academy. The desks and chairs and everything seem so small. Is this a dream? I felt like I was in someone's dream again. I felt like I'd seen this before. I could smell a familiar scent. If I could smell something, it usually meant I was in a girl's dream. What? I looked around my surroundings. I can move around freely. Does this mean that I'm myself in this dream? If I'm in this dream, then it must belong to someone close to me. Oh, gee! With all this, I wonder who it could be. It'd definitely be a heck of a twist if it was just someone like Wataru, just like, what? I looked at my hands. They were small, they were a child's hands. Gee, I wonder who this could be. The girl sitting beside me spoke. I remember this scene. She's Coco back when she was a child. Is this Coco's dream? You again. She wore a bashful smile. I heard the same words from her every spring. In this dream, I wonder how many springs it had been since our meeting. She's been following me everywhere since I saved her from those bullies. I think she was taller than me at this point. I don't know when I got taller than her. Coco was relieved. I thought she needed to find a way to not get bullied in the first place. How does one not get bullied if bullies target you? Well, I suppose it always is making it so that you're bully-proof, so that nobody really would bully you, because, like, I don't really know how you'd counter, you know, general dickery that is school life for many kids. But, I don't know. I have to take care of you again. I pretended like I was sick of it, even though I really wasn't. I sure did like to act tougher than necessary when I was a kid. You like to put on that kind of, yeah, look at me, I'm tough. Kind of like, that tends to be what the internet is like a lot, isn't it? Good grief. She bowed to me with her face beet red, and I greeted her with a sigh. It was a nostalgic dream. I think she'd been special to me ever since. That was sudden. As I woke up, I saw Sakura-san staring into my face. Sakura-san. What time is it now? I sluggishly moved around and checked my alarm clock. It was an hour earlier than when I usually wake up.
のすがすがしい気分を義行くんと共有したいと思って起こしてみました。
Can you imagine being woken up and the person who woke you up says something like that? You'd be like, oh, piss off, when you roll back over to sleep. I had an instance a few days ago where I was just like, I went to sleep, as you generally do, but I was awoken earlier than expected when my mother, my sister, and my nephew being loud at 7 in the morning. I was like, you had to wake me up, didn't you, with that noise? And I was grumpy the whole day as a result. She spoke without a hint of shyness and smiled without a care. Good morning. She sure is something else.